Yes, guys, welcome back to another stream, and today we're talking about Matheus Nunes, obviously of Wolves. Apparently has gone on strike. Obviously, I didn't do no streams yesterday. It was my birthday, so I just chilled out and just relaxed. So no streams from yesterday, so I've got a lot to catch up on. I know there's a lot going on with Matheus Nunes. I know there's a Cancelo news, and Tomi's been tweeting as well. But first of all, guys, as always, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We are less than 100 subscribers away, guys, from 7,000 subscribers. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has already subscribed within the first month of me doing this channel. To get towards 7K straight away is crazy. So thank you to everyone that has subscribed. If you've not subscribed, make sure you are sub to the channel. Let's have a look who we've got in the building then today. Let's get some shout outs, man. We've got O'Kanus, Jason Round, Jimmy Grimble, Rory Young, Nadir, Billy, Puneet, Doofus, Beyond Belief, Monifo, Wizzy, Jimmy, Brandholt, Sinathan, Rune Dogs, Beyond Belief, Stefan, Sinathan, Stacey, Tyrese, Patrick, Holly, yes, bro. Slicky's there, Tyrese, P. Elder, Zerified, not really here. Hopefully you guys are all well. For people asking, yeah, I did have a good day yesterday, man. Went out to town, had a few drinks, had some food. Just had a chilled out day, man. So I enjoyed it. It was a good day. It was a good day. But we are back. We are back. 1 year older. And we are back. And we need to be speaking, guys, about Nunes, obviously of Wolves. Obviously, big breaking news. You guys have already all seen this, so it's more just a sort of bit of a recap here. But Nunes did not train with Wolves on Sunday or Monday to push through a move to Manchester City, says Gary O'Neill. Matheus Nunes didn't have permission to miss the Wolves training. So essentially, boom, Matheus Nunes, whether you like it or not, has gone on strike at Wolves. Now, I've not seen anything about it this morning. I don't know if anyone's seen an update this morning to see whether or not he's back, he's back. But listen, that's pretty crazy. He clearly wants to push through a move to City, and to go on strike is a pretty mad way. Apparently, I can't remember this. I ain't got the memory. I ain't got the memory for this yet. But people telling me yesterday that, did Mahrez do something like this when he was at Leicester? Did he go on strike? I feel like I kind of remember him going on strike a little bit, but then I don't really remember it, and I just feel like I'm capping. My memory doesn't go back last year, mate. Honestly, I can't remember what happened 6 years ago, 7 years ago. But a lot of people said he went on strike. Obviously, Harry Kane kind of went on strike when he wanted the move to Manchester City. Kind of just didn't turn up to training, but wasn't really striking, but he kind of was striking. That obviously didn't work out as well. But we have seen other players go on strike in the past, and typically, I mean, it depends how the selling club wants to view it. They don't have to sell him. They can sort of make a statement out and be like, no, we're not selling the player. We're going to keep him. If you go on strike, then we won't do business. But the fact is, they kind of need to sell players if you believe the news about the finances. He doesn't want to be there. He's a good asset, and I don't think City are a million miles away on the fee, to be honest with you. I think he'll get it. So Mahrez got the price down from 90 million to 60, says Beyond Belief. That's pretty crazy. So then we got this as well. This come out. Obviously, we already knew this anyway. Let me just see. I might be able to zoom in. There we go. Matheus Nunes has informed Wolves that he wishes to join Manchester City. Dash, I'll check up that in a second, bro. And Punny, I'll check that out in a minute. Big up for the shout outs, boys. Wolves, and then this is interesting. Wolves are very keen to sign Manchester City's James McAtee, treated separately to a proposed deal for Matheus Nunes. Ajax, Sheffield United, and Leicester also like McAtee, with a move to Holland particularly appealing as a potential replacement for Mohamed Kudus. And of course, that would be obviously great for him. Then we get this bit here, which I think is potentially a key issue in this deal, and it's this one here. Calvin Phillips has no desire to leave Manchester City despite the pending arrival of Matheus Nunes. A number of Premier League clubs have been looking into a loan for Manchester City's Phillips, but City would also consider selling him. The question that I have, right, for me to answer, for you guys in the chat to answer, and I want you to give your thoughts in here. I'll bring some of the comments up. Because for me, yeah, we've already had this discussion last week, and I think most of us came to the conclusion that Matheus Nunes is not a replacement for Gundogan or a replacement for Kevin De Bruyne. He's a replacement, for me, in my opinion, and kind of most of you guys did agree, although some of you didn't, for Calvin Phillips. Will we still sign Matheus Nunes if Calvin Phillips says, I ain't leaving? I ain't fucking leaving. You know, if he does that, If he does that, I ain't fucking leaving. You know what I mean? Will we still sign Matheus Nunes? Now, on one hand, you can go, this hand here, yeah, you can go, fuck it. If you don't want to leave, no problem. But we don't think you're good enough, or Pep don't think you're good enough, or we don't think you can fit enough, or whatever. You just sit on the bench and you can just rot all year, which you don't really want to do. You know what I mean? Because you don't really want to be having that sort of friction between the two players. Or you can go, okay, then if you don't want to leave, we're not going to sign Matheus Nunes because then we're paying two players to do essentially the same thing, although Matheus Nunes will play a lot more than Calvin Phillips. But you're essentially doing the same job, which is, I believe, will likely be sort of a Rodri replacement in backup, not replacement. That's for me. Now, if you're in the camp of, I don't think he is a Calvin Phillips replacement LB, I don't think he is a Rodri backup LB, then just ignore that whole conversation because that doesn't apply to you. But I don't know. Listen, I think we have to have an honest conversation now about Calvin Phillips. And I know a lot of people don't want to do it because, you know, we've been told that he's a really nice guy. We want it to work. No one's sitting in not wanting it to work. We have to have an honest conversation. The guy's not trusted by the management at Manchester City. Calvin Phillips is not trusted by Pep Guardiola to play for Manchester City. It's just a fact. Not saying it in a nasty way. Not saying it in a malicious way. I think the guy's apparently meant to be a proper nice guy. Guy poured vodka in my mouth. The guy got a bottle of vodka and poured it off the bus at the team bus and it landed in my mouth. Like, guy's a sick guy. He seems like a proper nice guy. And I don't think that he's not even good enough. I think, as I've said many times before, I just think it's not going to work out at Manchester City because for me, for him to be good enough to play for Manchester City, he needs to be playing regular football at our football club to get his match fitness there. And he's not going to get regular football at Manchester City because he's not good enough. Therefore, his match fitness won't get there. So it's not a nasty thing. It's not a malicious thing. I think the guy seems like a nice guy. You know what I mean? I've watched some of his interviews and that, some of his podcasts that he's done. Seems like a proper nice guy. Come from humble beginnings. We all want him to work. But Man City are making moves on Nunes, so that tells you all you need to know for me. So listen, if you don't want to go, the guy's obviously sat on a bag, you know, 150k a week, something like that. You obviously don't want to just give that up for nothing. I understand that, but could Manchester City do something where we've done it in the past? I remember we did this a lot in the Mancini days and the early Pellegrini days where we loan him out and we pay some of his wages. So say he's on 150k. I think he's on 150k, yeah. Say we pay 50k, the other team pays 100k, boom, he's still getting his wages. He's playing regular football. And if he has a good year, he's going to come back to Manchester City, an asset. Because remember, we only bought him for 40 million quid. If he goes, say he goes to like, I don't know, a team in the Premier League, yeah, this year, he's loaned, and he has a great year, he's going to come back as I think he's 28, right? He'll come back as a 28-year-old next summer. Yeah, so he's 27 going on 28. He'll come back as a 28-year-old next summer. It'll be probably worth more than 40 million quid. So I think that City should look at a loan move. I know that Phillips probably wants to stay and fight for his position. And if he was getting some minutes, I would tell him, I would recommend that as well. I'd be like, yeah, I'll back it. But the fact he's not even getting like 10 minutes or 5 minutes, and that just tells you all you need to know. So for me, I think we should look at potentially moving on Phillips. But if you don't want to go, you don't want to go. So then the question is, will we still sign? In fact, let me do a poll on this one. Will we still sign Nunes if Phillips refuses to leave? Yes, we'll sign Nunes. No, we'll pull out. Okay, guys, poll is in the chat there for you guys to have your say. Let's have a look at some of your comments. Cameron in the chat thinks we're going to pull out of the deal. I'd be interested to know why you think we're going to pull out of the deal. Is it finance reasons? Do you not think City and Wolves are going to agree a transfer fee, or do you think that it's the Calvin Phillips situation? Big up, okayness. Harry says LB City are going to away. Let's have a look. Big up Nacho. Yeah, good mate. Let's have a look. Big up for the happy birthday messages, man. Appreciate all the messages, guys. Pardo says Phillips is turning into a disastrous transfer, but he's not doing himself any favours by not moving him on loan or being sold. Listen, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because he sat there, yeah. Put yourself in his shoes, right? He wants this to work out. He wants to be a Manchester City player. He wants to win trophies. He don't want to go to a club where he's not going to win trophies and that. Even if it means playing every game. I think he knew when he joined Manchester City that he's not going to play week in, week out. So he wants it to work, and I get that. And he's probably looking at last year going, last year was a fucking rip. I got the injury in my shoulder, and after that, I couldn't get fit, and I was never getting in a team that was battling to win the treble. He's probably thinking to himself, right, I've had a pre-season, I've not got any injuries, give me a full season. Maybe he's thinking to himself, give me 1 year, fully fit, and let's see what I can do. And I understand that point of view, and I want to back it. But it's just my opinion. It's just that for him to be good enough to play at City, which I do think as a player, he's good enough, he's got to get super, super match fit, because I just think he's not quite quick enough. So for him to be good enough, he needs to be literally like peak condition. And you can't get to peak condition unless you're playing football matches. And that's why I say, for me, it's just a vicious circle. And that's why I talk about it all the time. And it probably bores some of you. But that's for me, the main issue. So I don't know, man. It's a difficult one. I don't know. I feel sorry for the guy on one hand, you know what I mean? Because, he's joined City, and I think he knew that he was never going to play in front of Rodri. He knew he was going to be a backup player playing here and there. It's just been a stinker of a move for him. And that injury that he got against Barcelona, I remember calling it out. And I didn't say it too much because it was for charity, you know what I mean? You can't really slag something off if it's for charity, but playing a friendly in the middle of a season was a very strange decision. It was a very strange decision, but you can't really slag it off because it generated like £8 million for charity. So, but it was a strange decision. And everybody knew, let's be honest, everyone knew that someone was getting injured in that game. You're playing a friendly in the middle of a season. It was written, someone was going to get injured. And unfortunately, Phillips was the guy who got injured, So I don't know. It's a tricky one. But yeah, let's move it back on to the poll is in the chat. Keep your votes coming in. I'll have a look. There's 250 people in the stream, guys. Make sure you smash a like. And while you're there, have your vote on the poll that's currently in the live chat right now. We'll come back to the poll once we've had a few more votes. But let's have a look, see what else has been going on then with this. So yeah, we hear the news about Calvin Phillips. No desire to leave City, despite the pending arrival of Matheus Nunes. A number of Premier League clubs have been looking into a loan deal, while Manchester City would also consider selling. I think a loan deal would be good for him. I think it'd be good for us, good for him. He gets playing again. But anyway, we'll move on from that. Manchester City are ready to meet Wolves' £60 million valuation for Matheus Nunes after the midfielder went on strike to force through his move. Now, for me, what I would say on that is, if you're a football player, I just think to go on strike. First of all, sad that football it's come to this where footballers go on strike. But I would imagine that City and Wolves are not too far away. Surely, you know what I mean? Because if I'm a player, am I going to go on? Say City are like, yeah, mate, we bidded 50 million, but they want 100 million, and Wolves are like, well, we're not selling you for anything less than 100 million. I don't know, you would go on strike because then you're like, why violate me at 100 million? Look, I don't know, man. I just feel that, like, in my head, I feel like this deal is close. But I don't know. That's not based on it. That's just based on what I'm reading. So I don't know if that's silly. But yeah, I feel like this deal is a close one, to be honest with you. And I think that's pretty much it. So we've not really had anything else since then. I've not seen anything about this morning. So if anyone can see that, anything can see, has he been on strike this morning? He's been on strike since Friday. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Dash, I've said this for a long time. If I was a footballer, right? And that would never happen. But if I was a footballer, I would not sign a single contract without one of them being put in the contract. No chance. No chance. No chance. And if the release clause is too high, then that's your own fault because you shouldn't have agreed to it. You know what I mean? It's like this Kudus guy. This Kudus has gone West Ham. He's probably got a release clause in the contract. I think Liverpool or Arsenal were linked with him at one point. He probably knew that. So he's probably gone to West Ham and put a release clause in the contract. You've got to be putting release clauses in your contracts now. And this is one of the issues that I have for potentially clubs like Brighton, whose model is to buy players when they're sort of undiscovered, hidden gems, get them in for cheap, and then sign them on big contracts, 5-6 years. The player goes, oh my God, I'm getting a Premier League wage for 5 or 6 years. Great. This is where the agents need to be going, hang on a minute. They're signing you because they know your class. And then they know you're going to be really good. You look at the contract, you look at the big money. But what about in 2 years if you're a player that should be playing at a City, United, Arsenal, Liverpool, Barcelona, PSG, and you're stuck at sort of a Brighton? You don't have a release clause. It's going to make it very difficult. So it's going to be interesting the way football goes with sort of release clauses and stuff. But yeah, let's have a look at Tommy. You guys are spamming Tommy in the chat. So let's see what our friend Mr. Real Tommy's hairdo has to say. Okay, wow, look at that. 8 seconds. Do you get any quicker than that, guys? Doing a stream and I bring up the tweet within 8 seconds, man. He says Nunes has done himself and City no favours by not turning up for training in the last couple of days. We did not expect it, and Wolves know that. Okay, that sounds pretty crap, to be honest with you. If you're a fan of Matheus Nunes and want the deal for Matheus Nunes to Manchester City to go ahead, ain't looking good, Brev, I would say on that one. Do you know? That ain't good. That is not good. So he's gone on strike. And obviously, City, I was going to say without City's permission. City never going to tell him to go on strike, I would imagine. Yeah, that's not good, is it? Okay, so, because this is the problem with when you go on strike. There's only 2 ways it's going to end. The club, the selling club, right? So Wolves, the guy goes on strike. Everyone's like, where's Matheus? Gary O'Neill's like, is he in the changing room? Is he coming out for training? And the players are like, you know what? I don't think I've seen him this morning, Gaffer. And Gary O'Neill's like, serious? Is he phoned in ill? He goes to HR. Has Nunes phoned in ill? And they're like, no, I didn't. So then they're getting on the phone to him. He's not answering the phone, going to voicemail. He rings his agent. His agent goes, yeah, he's on strike. Oh, shit. Okay, so this is how it's going to play. Gary O'Neill goes to the board, yeah? He says, Matheus Nunes is on strike. The board are going to go one of 2 ways. They're going to go down this road here, which is, fuck this guy. Let's just get rid of him. Let's get a decent fee. Go to the City and say 60 million, 62 million and get rid of him. Okay, we don't want this guy anymore. He's doing our head in. We need to focus on the season. 62 million ain't a bad fee for him. See you later. Or they're going to go down this road. If they go down this road, then he's screwed. And that road is, who the fuck does he think he is? The cheeky little bastard. You know what I mean? Who does he think he is? We are Wolverhampton Wanderers. No player is bigger than the club. If you think you can go on strike, sit a bit, pal. You know what I mean? Not sit a bit as in like we're selling you. Sit a bit, pal, as you'll rot in the reserves type sit a bit, pal. You know what I mean? And to be fair, if they go down this route, you know what I mean? You can't really blame them. You can't have players just going on strike. You know what I mean? That ain't right. You signed a contract, mate. You signed a contract. You signed a contract at Wolves to say that you will play for Wolves for this many years. If you didn't like it, and if you thought, oh, maybe in a year or so, you might make a move, then you should have put a release clause in the contract like Dash says. Do you know what I mean? I'm not being funny. It's not like this guy's just come out of absolutely nowhere. He was playing for Sporting Lisbon. Pep Guardiola said he was one of the best players in the world in that position. So this can't come as a shock to Matheus Nunes that, oh, maybe after a year, big clubs want. Well, he should have put a release clause in the contract. That's what I'm saying about Kane when he was at Spurs with his brother. Do you know what I mean? Doing his contracts. I ain't got no sympathy for these players, mate. Do you know what I mean? They put the release clause in the contract. So listen, I want Nunes at City because I think we need cover for Rodri. I mean, again, you look at Rodri's performance against Sheffield United, fantastic yet again, and we have nobody to cover him. So I want Nunes to come in there and potentially provide some cover. But I sort of like if I hide the City stuff in the background, yeah, I'm like, fuck the guy. You know what I mean? He don't deserve to get a move. His agent doesn't deserve to get a move. And I hope that Wolves come down on him and be like, who the fuck do you think you are going on strike? You know what I mean? As a football fan, they should refuse to deal now. They should ring up Manchester City and go, sorry, mate, no matter what you offer, we're not selling him. Because we cannot set a precedent at this football club where if you want to move, all you have to do is go on strike and we'll sell you. So as a football fan, I hope they come down hard on him. That leaves us in a bad situation, as you know what I mean? Because then we're like, okay, now what do we do? Now what do we do? Do we stick with Phillips? Do we actually try him? Do we move on to an 8th choice midfielder? I don't know. It's a tricky one, man. I don't think it's easy, to be honest with you. Big up to Rune Dogs coming in with the super chat, man. Says he has Cancelo's attitude written all over him. I've got to say, mate, like, I know obviously Mahrez done a similar thing with the strike thing, but does it? Yeah, does it look great? You're signing a player who went on strike. I mean, what about if Barcelona come in or Real Madrid? Is he going to go on strike at City? Do you know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I say, you guys know anyway, like from day one, I was never really like fully game for this deal. I was kind of like, yeah, I'll take him, you know what I mean? But I ain't really that excited about the player coming to City anyway. And to be fair, it's not just me. I watched a Wolves podcast the other day, yeah. And a couple of their lads were like, not sure why City are buying him. He wasn't even that good last year. So it's, it's an interesting one. But a player that goes on strike, you have to seriously question. Let's have a look about this. Let's see if we've got any fresh news. No, so obviously Tommy there saying that City not happy with this. Wolves obviously not happy with this. This was earlier on, about 35 minutes ago, 40 minutes ago. He says, goes without saying, Nunes' agent is promising he can secure the deal. Our need is immediate. However, my opinion is to pay up or he'll pay even more if City do try and move on to someone else before the deadline. Not very City-like. Well, yeah. I mean, listen, this is the problem that we're in. This is the problem. He's just stating facts there, you know what I mean? Because this is the problem that we're in now. Do you know what I mean? Because if you do move on from Matheus Nunes, I mean, it's kind of already obvious to everybody who is in the football world, whether you're a fan or whether you're actually in the business, you know what I mean, like an agent or a football club, that Manchester City are clearly desperate for a midfielder. I'm going to start using the word desperate because we went for Jude Bellingham, went for Declan Rice. We had interest in James Maddison. We went for Paqueta. We've been for Nunes. There was rumours about Eze. There's been interest in Dani Olmo. There was a quote from about Wirtz. So if we go for another midfielder, the club's going to have your pants down, man, because they're going to know. They're going to know. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's a tricky one now. But the thing is, how much do Wolves want? If Wolves want 70 million, City might just be like, let's get him. Let's just pay the cash. But who else is there? You know, I mean, I'd have to watch that stream that we did. Remember last week when we did that stream and was looking at all the midfielders, went through all the stats and that. I had to rewatch that. Obviously, Pedro Goncalves or whatever he's called. I think he's at Sporting Lisbon as well, wasn't he, guys? It's a difficult one, man. I don't know. But this is what happens when you don't get your business done early. I genuinely think that Jude Bellingham situation has just screwed us in terms of our midfield. I'm happy with the signings that we've done, by the way, so far. I think getting Doku in, getting Kovacic in, getting Gvardiol in, all great. But in terms of that one midfielder that we're looking for, Jude Bellingham has screwed us, man. Because we put all our eggs in this basket. We was like, yeah, let's go all out for Jude. By the time he chose Real Madrid, Rice had already pretty much committed to Arsenal. By that time, Maddison had joined Tottenham. Then we was on to our Paqueta. Then we can't do anything about that, of course. You know what I mean? That is what it is. You know, he's got gambling charges. What can City do about that? But it's tricky. It's tricky. But it is what it is, man. What can you do? What can you do, guys? Guys, make sure you drop a like on the stream, by the way. 300 people in the stream. Hit the like button and have your say in the live poll, which is going on right now. I think over there in the live chat, or if you're watching on a phone, it might be underneath. Right, okay. The question that I put in the chat for you guys was, will we still sign Nunes if Phillips refuses to leave? 76% of you say we will still sign Nunes if Phillips refuses to leave. And 25% of you say, no, we're going to pull out if Phillips refuses to leave. So that's an interesting call. I think that we'll still sign him or somebody else, regardless of what Phillips does, because I think the club have just come to the conclusion that he's not going to play. So yeah, I think it's interesting because I think what you got to think about this is as well, yeah, that I'm now starting to think is it's a bit of a not a mess, but it's a bit of a confusing situation with the midfielders. So he went for Jude Bellingham, who's sort of like a bit of a box-to-box player, can sit next to the DM, but likes to go forward. He's more of an attacking player. You've got Rice, who can kind of do a little bit of everything, but he's probably more on the defensive side compared to Jude Bellingham, but can still play further advanced if you want him to. Maddison, who's basically an out-and-out sort of attacking sort of player. Then you went for Eze, same. Vert, the same. Dani Olmo, completely different in sense of where he plays. Then we went to Paqueta, who's a completely attacking player. Then you go to Nunes, who's more on the defensive side, who'd sit a lot deeper in our team. So I feel like at this point, they just want an extra midfielder. I don't really think that asks whether it's a more defensive, deeper lying player or a further forward attacking player. Because if there was sort of a decision on what we should go for, then there'd be more sort of, how to say, straightforward with their approach. Like they won't be going for Rice and Bellingham because Rice is more defensive. They won't be going for Nunes when they've just been for Paqueta because they're completely different players. You know what I'm saying? So if we do move on from Nunes, who knows who we're going to pick out the hat next, you know? But yeah, it's very, very interesting, man. It is very, very interesting. Let's have a look. People saying we've got some more news. 1 second. Oh, okay. We got some breaking news, guys. Breaking news. Breaking news. Matheus Nunes will not be involved in Wolves versus Blackpool in the Carabao Cup second round tonight. That is from Sky Sports News. Now, there's no real surprise there, to be honest with you, if we're being honest, because he's not trained. You know what I mean? He's on strike. But we've got the confirmation now. But there you go. He's not gonna play. Interesting. I think there's a real interesting development. All I'd say is, guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell next to the subscribe button, because if we get some more breaking news, boom, I'll be live straight away and we'll be talking about it. And if you don't hit the notification bell, sometimes YouTube don't tell you. I got a question for you, right? Non-Nunes related, but I do have a question. And it's a very serious question because it could result in a potential action tonight. The Papa John's Trophy, Group F, between Grimsby Town and Manchester City under-21s kicks off tonight at 7:30 UK time. Now, the game isn't televised. However, you can pay a tenner and watch it on Grimsby Town's official website. You know what I mean? You go on the website, create an account, pay a tenner, you get access. Or it might be available via other methods, which could result in legal action if you was to get caught. But I'm not going to say anything more than that. Would you or would you not prefer a watch along for that? You know what I mean? I'm game for the watch along, but if you're not game, then I'm also chilling. So I'm going to put a post out in the community tab. I'll set a like target. If we get the like target, I'll do. But if not, chilling and it's fine. But yeah, Matheus Nunes to Manchester City. Very, very interesting. It ain't looking good, Brev. You know, apparently City are not happy with this. Nor are Wolves, obviously. Nunes is not going to be playing tonight in the Carabao Cup, so we'll see. I'll be live later on. I'll probably do another stream anyway. I'm going live on the 12th Man podcast, which is my mate Dan Potts. He's got a 12th Man podcast on YouTube. He's about 12,000 subscribers. I'll be going live on there at 4 p.m. So make sure you join me for that one. I'll be live later on. And if you guys want a watch along tonight, then I'll put a post up in the community tab. Hit the like on that, and I might consider doing that. But yeah, I'm gonna go to the gym, get some gains. Gonna have some My Protein. And yeah, man, I'm waffling. I've had a day off and I'm just waffling. So guys, listen, peace out, man. I'll see you later.